here with Crafty Ladybug. This lesson is going to be on our beach mama, which I have named her Barbie because she is slender looking like a Barbie. And what mom doesn't want to be called a beach Barbie? So here we've got Beach Barbie, and Beach Barbie has hair all the way on the back of her head, which is something that I started with my Little Mermaid series with Prince Eric and Ariel, King Triton, and Ursula all have the hair on the back of their head. She's going to be 2 columns wide, and you can choose if you want to do beads for her eyes. If you want to do beads for her eyes, you need to have 2 beads already strung on a band. Or in today's lesson, I'll be showing you how to do 2 black rubber bands. So for the hair, we're going to be needing 48 bands for the hair. And I'm choosing to use a blonde shade today, which is like a light coffee color. For our body in the skin tone color, you're going to need 81 bands. And then for her bathing suit, you're going to need 18 with the suit and with the little area on the back of her hair. So let's begin this lesson with our loom set in its standard configuration. And the arrows are going to be pointing from the left going to the right. So your arrows are going this way. And we're going to begin by placing a single band, 1 band, on the center piece right here and letting it dangle over that edge. Our next set of bands are going to be doubled. So 2 bands going from center up a peg, 2 bands again, coming center down a peg, 2 bands again, coming in the center. And next, we're going to take 2 bands and we're going to come all the way down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. So we're going to come down 7 times with 2 bands. There's number 1. Here is number 2. 2 bands. Number 3. Number 4. Number 5. Two bands, if I can get them out. Number 6. And 2 bands again. Number 7. We need to do this on the bottom row also for a total of 7 times. 2 bands. 2 bands. 2 bands, 2 bands, 2 bands, 2, and 2. Okay, now for the center. We're going to come down our center 4 times. 4 times down the center. There's our time number 1. There is number 2. Number 3 and number 4. And our next step is going to be to take 2 bands, and we're going to go from peg number 3 down to the diagonal. So peg number 1, 2, 3 down to the center diagonal. So we're forming a really long diagonal. Top peg 3 to center peg 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need to do the same thing on the other side. From 3 to 5 in a long diagonal. Our next step is to take a cap band, 1 band, wrap it around your hook twice, stretch that out, and place it right there as a cap band. We want to take a single band and we're going to place it across these 3 pegs in a triangular shape. A single band again across these 3 pegs in a triangular shape. And we also need to cap off our bands down here. What we've done is made our extension for our hair right here on the loom, so we need to cap those two off. So single band, wrap it around your hook 3 times, stretch that out, and cap that piece off there. A single band again, wrap that around your hook 3 times, stretch that out, and place that right there. Now we're ready to start to loop our hair. And in looping our hair, we're going to loop up to this point, and then we're going to stop right here. So I'm going to pick up my loom and turn it around. I'm going to start on the left side, reaching in, and I'm going to go up once, reach in, go up again, reach in, go up again, reach in, come up again. I'm going to reach in, I'm going to come up again. And I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to stop on the 1, 2, 3rd peg for a moment. And I'm going to start over here on the right. And I'm just going to loop up to that same point. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 times. And I'm going to stop right there. Now I want you to reach into your center band, and I want you to get the top 2 bands, which are going to be going off to your left. My cap band just slid off. That's okay. 2 bands going off to the left. The next 2 bands are going to go off to our right. And then the center band is going to come straight forward. And that one's going to be a little loose, but it's going to lock in on the next step. Push back that horizontal band, and now you've locked your hair in. And we need to go up one more time, reaching in to get the bottom 2 bands to finish up that center. Now our next step here is going to be to take off our hair extension. So on our left side, we want to place our thumb or index finger on the 3rd peg down from the left. And you want to take off your hair extension and move it over to the left. We're going to do the same thing on the right side. Peg number 3, relieving our hair extension, and move that off to the right side. Now we can loop up, reaching in, pushing back everything there, grabbing the bottom 2 bands. We're going to loop up, and we're going to wiggle this out for a moment. But instead of linking to the 2nd peg, I want you to pull it around sideways and set it back onto the 4th peg. We're going to lock this band in just a little while for the hair. This is going to be this piece right here of the hair, and we're not going to do that until we get her face done. And likewise, we're going to do the same thing on the left side. So I'm going to reach into this left 3rd peg, pushing back everything, grabbing the bottom 2 bands, wiggle it out, and then I'm just going to move it right back to the 4th peg. So this is how your image should look now. Okay? And now we're going to be ready to start to lay our face and our body. And as I said before, she is only 2 columns wide, so we're only going to be using the bottom 2 columns here. And for that, I'm going to put my instructions slightly closer, and in hopes that you guys can see that. And I'm putting this ladybug on it just because I had somebody print out that off the internet. They took a screenshot of it and printed it and posted it somewhere that I wasn't very happy with, because that is a copywritten design of mine, this little beach girl. And so is a sheet of paper here because I have copyright written on it. So I just want to make sure that you guys know that it's not nice to do that to us fellow designers. Please just watch the video and kind of take care of things during the video. All right, and now we're going to begin with our flesh. So for the flesh, we're going to take 2 bands, and we're going to go on the top here from 2 to 3, 2 bands again, 2 to 3 on the center pegs, 2 bands again, 2 to 3 on the bottom set of pegs, another 2 bands in the center, 2 bands to form a diagonal, 2 bands to form another diagonal. Three bands, a total of 3 bands, 1, 2, 3, are going to be needed for the neck area, which will be coming down the center, and that's going to be our neck area. Now before we lay anymore, I need you to grab this piece right here, the piece of the hair, and I need you to bring that forward and over so that it rests on the forward peg here. This is actually what is locking in the hair to the back of the head. So that little piece right there locks your hair down onto the back of your head. And you guys can't see it here. Well, you can sort of, but it just locks it in and loops it in right there at the back of her neck. Now we're ready to begin our shoulder area, and this is where it might get a little confusing for some of you because it is only 2 columns wide. 2 bands coming down the center once, and 2 bands coming from the center down 1. Our next step is going to be 2 bands in blue. I'm using blue today. 2 bands in blue and 2 bands in blue. These don't look like they're lined up, but when we get to the point of looping everything, they will be lined up okay. 2 peach, 2 peach, 2 peach, and 2 peach. I'm switching back to blue. We need 2 blues, 2 blues, and this part once again is going to be a little tricky. You're going to take 2 blues and come down your center, and then we're going to take 2 blues and we're going to go from this peg on a long diagonal over. So you should have a long diagonal right here in this area. Our next step is going to be to take 3 rubber bands in flesh, and that is going to go from where our blue ended here down 1. 3 rubber bands again, and this is going to be a little awkward looking. It's going to go from your center peg, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Center peg number 10 over on a diagonal. So center peg 10 over on a diagonal. 3 bands again, coming down the top piece. 3 bands again, coming down the side of the leg. We're working on the upper thigh. 2 bands coming down the loom. 2 bands coming down the loom. And the next one is going to be a single band, 1 band, double twisted and placed on the loom. A single band again, double twisted and placed on the loom. Now to finish off the legs, we need to do a couple more extensions. And I'm going to do those now before I add the horizontal bands in. So for the legs, you're going to need to take a single band, wrap it around your hook 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Take another single band, loop it around your fingers in a double twist, and pull that through, and then reclaim. Just straightening up my cap band there. I'm taking another single band, I'm double twisting it, and I'm going to pull that through and reclaim. Another single band, double twisted, pulled through, and reclaimed. And this is adding just enough little extra extension for the part of her foot that I need. So this is going to be placed as a cap band would on the end of each of these pegs. There's one leg done. We need to do that again for the other leg. Single band, twist around your hook 3 times. So you want it to appear as there are 3 on there. A single band, double twisted on your fingers and pulled through on your hook and reclaim. A single band, double twisted, pulled through and reclaim. Single band, double twisted, pulled through and reclaim. So we should have a total of a 3-time cap band and a double twist, and a double twist for a total of 3 double twists. And then we're going to place that on our right foot. Okay. And now that we have our feet attached, we're going to take a moment. We're just going to push down everything that we have here. We're going to start to layer horizontal bands. So for our horizontal bands, the first one I'm going to start off with is up here at the top where the blues meet, where your top blue 2 pieces meet your chest area. So you want to take a single band, double twist it, and place on that diagonal. So it's going to be peg number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the center to peg number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the bottom. Our next band needs to be flesh colored. So take a flesh colored band or skin tone, whichever you prefer, double twist it and stretch that out over the next 2 pegs. We need another flesh or skin tone band here, peach I might refer to it as, single band double twisted and placed right there. Now we have this area right here. We need to take a blue band, blue, double twist and place right there. And the next one is also going to be a single blue band. We're going to double twist and place right there. Now this next step is a little bit different. I want you to take one band and we're going to go from this peg here to that peg there. So that is peg number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on the top and 10 on the bottom with a single band going straight across in a horizontal fashion. So this is what the bottom of your loom should look like. You should have 1, 2, 3. Your bikini bottom should start on peg number 3 up from the bottom, and then your single band across as so. And now we're just going to push all of this down again, and we're actually going to build our arms on top this time. If you don't feel comfortable doing a layer, you can make your arms the old way, or follow along with me for the arms. It's pretty simple to do it. It's just another layer added on to your figure. So for our arms, they're going to be going on peg number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the center and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the bottom. So you want to take 2 bands and from peg 6 to 7 in the center, run those 2 bands. From peg 7 to 8, you're going to need 2 more bands. From peg 8 to 9, we're going to need 2 more bands. For this peg here, we need a single band that we're going to double twist and place on the loom right there. Another single band, double twisted and placed on the loom. Another single band, double twisted and placed on the loom. And another single band, double twisted and placed on the loom. I'm going to cap off this last band right here, which is going to be your hand. I know it doesn't look like it right now, but it's going to be your hand, with a single peach wrapped around your hook 3 times and stretched out across that to make a 3-time cap band. We're actually going to be pulling her arms up, much like we did the hair just a little bit ago. So we need to start back up here at peg number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So peg 5 to 6 with 2 bands. 6 to 7 with 2 bands. 7 to 8 with 2 bands. And then we switch to a single band, double twisted and laid on the loom. A single band, double twisted and laid on the loom. A single band, double twisted, laid on the loom. And a single band, double twisted and laid on the loom. This one is not going all the way down to the bottom peg. It keeps everything lined up. So you'll have 2 on a diagonal. They kind of line up in a diagonal way. So I need to cap off this band right here with a 3-time cap band and placing that right there where your item should end, where your arm should end. So now we are ready to let the real fun begin. And we are going to have to do the face. I forgot to do the face. So you want to take a single band and lay that across right there. Number 2, number 2, and number 2. A single band coming across number 3, number 3, and number 3. And then we need to do her eyes also. So that is a single black band that we're going to wrap around our hook 4 times. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you want it to appear as there are 4 little pieces of rubber band on your hook. You need to do that again with the other black band. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then we're going to take those and we're going to move it onto a single peach or skin tone or flesh, whichever way you prefer to say that, and move that on our band. And here we have got 2 eyes. We're just going to take that onto peg number 3 to peg number 3. I'm going to hold this up so you guys can see it. So, I'm sorry, it's peg number 2 to number 2. We're just going to separate those out. There's a lot of stuff on that peg, so be sure to push it down. We're just going to separate that out. And there are 2 eyes. But what we're going to do here is to take the bottom portion of that band. We're going to bring it down 1 peg. Grabbing the bottom portion and just setting it down 1 peg. So I'm locking it into peg number 3. Okay. Now we are ready to loop. And we're going to start with our arms. So we're going to loop our arm up, stop at the shoulder, reach in to your first set of cap bands. We have a lot on this peg here. You don't want the leg, so you want to push back your cap band for your hand and bring out that double twist band and come forward. The next step, you just want to grab the double twist band. You don't want to grab the ones underneath and come forward. Next one is grabbing the double twist bands. Don't grab what's underneath and come forward. Now we've reached where there's some extra bands. You only want the top 2 flesh bands, or what actually is a double twist band. and come forward. Here's more of a collection. You just want these top 2 flesh bands and come forward. And now we have a lot of flesh bands. So you want to push back and you just want to grab the top 2 flesh bands that you come to. Don't reach in and get that horizontal that's down there. Next one again, there's a lot more flesh and we only want those top 2 and come forward. And now before I start the other portion, the other arm, I'm going to swing this one out just like I did her hair. Hold her finger here, release it from the bottom of the loom, and swing your arm out. And there's her little arm that falls right into place where it needs to be. And our next step is going to be her right arm. So I'm going to come to the center peg at the bottom, pushing back that cat band, and I'm grabbing that double twist band that's there and looping forward once. Reaching in, double twist band, and forward once. Now I've reached a collection of where there's some extra color there. I just want the top peach or skin tone double twist and come forward. I just want the top skin tone and peach double twist, which I was having a problem grabbing it, and come forward. Next one's going to be 2 actual bands and come forward. Now I just want the top 2 bands that are there, not the bottom flush one, and come forward. Top 2 bands, don't grab your horizontal on the bottom, and come forward. And then we're going to stop right there. So we're a peg away from the neck in the center. We're going to hold our thumb there again, reach at the bottom, pull our arm off, and swing it out to the right. So here we have got our Beach Barbie with her arms now in the correct position. I could have made the arms earlier and had you set them on, but some people are liking the fact that you're working on the single loom and you don't have to make extra extensions. So we're now going to begin with our legs. Reaching into the left leg, and I'm coming forward once, reaching in, coming forward again, reaching in, 3 bands, coming forward, and now I've reached this crazy horizontal band here. So what I want to do is to push back that horizontal band, grabbing the 3 bands on the bottom, the 3 flesh, skin tone, and come forward once. Our next step is going to be to stop right there. You don't want to do your blue yet because I need to do my other leg before I continue looping. Reach into your right, pushing back that extension and cat band, and come forward once. Come forward again. Reaching in, grab 3 bands, come forward. Push back this horizontal band with 3 bands coming over to the center. And loop that on. The next step, we're going to set this down and we are actually going to be doing another blue horizontal band. And the reason for this is so that the skin tone color doesn't show through in this leg area. So take another blue horizontal, double twist it, and lay it across where that thigh area met up. And the next part's a little tricky because there's no cat band on this piece right here. It's still going to be locked in with everything else in this piece. That piece right there will lock it in. But you want to grab the top 2 bands and they're going to go over to the left. Finishing up that long diagonal that we did. The next 2 blue bands are going to just loop straight up right there. Now I'm going to finish by looping my left side, pushing back everything that's there through all of those bands, and there's a lot. Push back the horizontals that you come to, and you want to get the bottom 2 bands and loop forward. And then we're just pushing back our horizontal, getting the 2 flesh, push back your horizontal, grabbing the 2 flesh, And the next step, we're going to add a little extra oomph because I've given her a little bit of extra up here to cover up her top a little bit more. And to do that, we're going to take a single blue and wrap it around our hook 3 times. Then we're going to do a single blue wrapped around our hook 2 times. So there is a 3 time and a 2 time. Now before we loop forward, we're going to push this down onto this next link. So reach in, grab your 2 blue, bring those out, and we're going to move this 2 on there. We're going to move that 3 on there. Now we're going to loop forward to the arm. So this just gives her a little extra oomph in that area, and when it comes off the loom, it's going to make her chest area look a little bit larger. We're going to reach into the shoulder, pushing back all those bands, grabbing 2 over to the center. Now we're ready to begin the center beam. Center, reach in beyond, pushing back all that stuff, and there's a lot on there. Push back everything, grabbing the bottom 2 blue bands, wiggle it out, and come forward once. Push back that blue horizontal, come forward with your flesh, push back your horizontal, come forward with your flesh, and now I've reached my blue again. And for my blue, I'm taking a single band, I'm going to wrap it around my hook 3 times, and then I'm going to take another single band and wrap it around my hook twice. I'm going to reach in, grab my bottom 2 blue, pull that out, and just move them down onto that piece and link forward. I'm reaching into my arm, pushing back everything that's there, bottom 2 bands, and come forward. Now I've got the neck area to do. The neck area, push back everything you have there, grabbing your bottom 3 and loop forward. Now for our cheek area, this area right here, you'll see your 2 golden pieces, your 2 pieces for your hair. If you did golden hair, they'll be gold. If you did brown, they'll be brown. Take this piece, just reach in there and grab those 2 bands and just pull them back 1 peg. And this just gets it out of the way enough that we can do her cheek area without it interfering. So reach into your center peg and come forward, grabbing the top 2 bands. And I did not grab the proper 2, so I'm just setting them back down there. And I'm going to wiggle some things and get some things straight, making sure that I'm getting the proper 2 bands, which I want these 2 going off to the left. There we go. 2 bands going off to the left. Next 2 bands are going to go off to my right. And then the center 2 bands. And you only want the flesh colored. There's going to be another beige color down there. You want your flesh 2 to come forward. And reach into the center band, grab down, and you only want the flesh 2, the 2 skin tones, and come forward. And then on the center piece, you're going to reach in and grab the beige or hair color that you have and come forward. So our center beam is all done. Just want you to relieve this hair piece again. Just let it relax there. Just take it off and let it relax. It'll fall right into place. And now we're going to work on our sides. And remember I said our sides would be a little tricky because we have this extra piece of hair that we did a long time ago. And it's just kind of hanging out on peg number 4. So I want you to reach into peg number 3, pushing back the bands that you just looped forward. And you want to grab the 2 flesh colored bands and the 2 flesh colored only. Don't grab what's underneath. Just bring your 2 flesh out and come forward. That was peg number 3 to number 2 with flesh. Now we're going to reach into peg number 4, reach back here to peg number 4. I'm going to loop it now up to peg number 2. And if you guys can see, that is that piece right there on our hair that we just moved around and looped up. Now we can finish off her hair on the left side, reaching in, pushing back everything and grabbing the bottom 2 bands and come forward. 2 bands over here on the left and come over to the center. And now our left side is finished. We just need to work on our right side. So for our right side, once again, you just want these 2 flesh colored bands. Reach in, grabbing your 2 flesh bands. And this part is a little difficult, I'm not going to lie, getting the 2 correct bands. And come forward once. Come back here to peg number 4 where a piece of hair is hanging out, this piece of hair. Loop that up to peg number 2. And that, of course, is her hair right there. That piece right there. So our next step is to reach into peg 2 on the right, reaching in, grabbing the bottom 2 hair colored bands, coming forward once, reaching in, bottom 2 bands over to our center. And now I'm just double checking to make sure I see teardrops everywhere and I did not miss any loops. And I think I'm good to go. So now we're going to slip knot it off. This dangle band that we had up here, just place it on the tip of your finger. Reach into everything that you have in that center peg. So you want to reach in through that center peg, pushing back everything, and you're grabbing that bottom band and you want to pull it up and weave it out. So weave that out to the front, place it on your hook, and then just bring the first end over, and there you've got yourself a slip knot. Now it's time to take her off. If you don't have a crochet hook like mine, use a chopstick, use a kitchen skewer, use a thin round Phillips head screwdriver, the end of a paintbrush. Use something to take this off the loom. Don't just rip it off the loom or it's gonna fall apart on you. Reach into your center peg and gently take it off the loom. And you want to take piece for piece because we have got all that extra stuff. Whoops, my loom just popped up there. That's okay. You have all that extra stuff, and if you just ripped it right off, it would not put those things in the right places. So just take a moment and just bear with me till you get to the easy part. Down to the hip area, and it's getting thicker again. And now down to my legs, and they'll come off pretty easy. And here we have got our Beach Barbie. Give her a little tug and stretch. For the hair, you'll see that it is covering the back of her head. What I did with the little ponytail was to simply double twist and place the band up there. One band double twisted, placed up here. You might need to do 3 times depending upon your elasticity. Hide your dangle band, your securing band. I'm just going to tuck that in the back of her head here. Simply hide that. And then as far as the face goes, some people like this little bit of peach hanging out here because they think it looks like an ear. If you don't like the way that looks, take the back of your hook and just pull and roll her hair forward a little bit. On the other side, we're going to do the same thing. Just reach in, grabbing the back part of the hair and rolling it forward some. And that kind of covers up the ear area. Her arms, if they're not in the right place, you don't like the way they look, just simply move them. Move them around to where you want them. Her bathing suit looks a little off down here at the bottom. That's okay. I'm just going to tuck things in. And with a little bit more fiddling, we have got ourselves a gorgeous Beach Barbie with her skinny little self. If you want to add ties to her, you can simply just take and do a little slip knot right here. Bring out a piece of that horizontal band and tie another band into a slip knot. And then if you use a pair of scissors and you give that a little trim, it'll make it look like she's got a little tie on her bikini. I'm going to take a second. I'm going to do that on the other side also. I'm just reaching in and grabbing a piece of that horizontal band. And I'm going to pull a band through and just slip knot that off and together onto that piece. I'm just going to give it a quick cut. And as I said, with a little bit more fiddling that I'll do off camera, we're going to have ourselves a cute looking Beach Barbie. And this one actually does look like Barbie because of the blonde hair. And this was our first mama that I did. My bands do look a little stretched out, and I'm not going to lie, I have repurposed my bands, so it just goes to show that depending upon your band texture, this was the same exact Barbie, same exact layout. One is a little bit larger than the other, but that's okay. Not everything in life is the same. Not every mom is the same height as another mom, but we are good to go. And there's your Beach Barbie. And soon she'll be ready to lay on her beach blanket. Visit me on my Facebook page, Crafty Ladybug Rainbow Loom Creations. Follow me on Instagram at Crafty Ladybug, or visit me on the web at www.craftyladybugcreations.com. I hope you guys will visit me again soon. Thanks so much.